excited to hear from Nicole McMurray. Nicole has been in the working with businesses and candidates to help successfully place them for over 18 years here in Central Florida and leads Apple One in this area. What you may not know about her is she's also the adoptive mom of not one, but two amazing kids. I think that 2 out of 3 is good, right?
Yeah, my husband said not a third.
Okay, got it. So 2 amazing kids, Luke and Olivia, ages 10 and 9. And in addition to all that, she sings in her church choir and has decided to start learning how to play the piano. Now, I want to dispel one rumor that's been going around here. With Sandy's ability to play the guitar and Nicole's musical ability, they are not going on the road professionally at this time. But she does have some great information for us, so please welcome Nicole McMurray.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I'm a high I, so I promise to be brief, be bold, and be gone, right? And we'll see if some of the details make it on the screen, okay? Here, whoops, that's Sandy. That's an example of me not knowing what to do. This just goes this way. Okay, so Jessica and I love learning from her. Sandy, I've learned so much from you in the time that we've met and been together. I am here to help you with tools to make things happen. So I've been with Apple One for 18 years. I am the street version of what we get to leave with today, right? And I wanted to share with you guys, it was on your little pamphlet when you signed up for this event, but the quote from Scott Sunshine, where he just says, he's the author of a book, Stretch, which I'm reading right now, and it says, if you think you're leading the same workforce, people with the same mindset, the same mentality, you're nuts. You have to change or get out of the way. There's no turning back. This is the big reset, and this is where hope and opportunity live. So today I want to sit in that space where hope and opportunity live, because I promise you guys, the great resignation, the great reassignment, the great evaluation, there are still clients that are hiring people every day, and there are still people that are driving to work every single day. And if you're sad or defeated, just sit on I-4 at 8 a.m. and you'll get motivated to know that there's candidates out there in the marketplace, right? Just wave in the car. Okay, so we'll make this happen together. All right, so Jeff, will this just move to like the little animation thing? Will it just kind of happen, or do I have to roll for everyone? Okay, got it. All right, so I want to talk about the future of work right now, okay? We keep hearing that there's no people out there, there's no candidates available in the marketplace, and right, we're in a different world and the world has changed. But if we're gonna look where hope and opportunity live, I just wanna talk about the future of work for a second. Gen Z, right now, it only makes up about 5% of the workforce, and there's 61 million Gen Zers that are getting ready to join in the future. If you don't know about Gen Z, and I can spend hours talking to you about it, they are one of my favorite generations that are coming through the marketplace. My last 2 hires were Gen Zs, and they are level 10 off the charts amazing, right? They have great personalities, work ethic. If you are not excited about Gen Z, I want you to leave here today excited about it, because the future of work is coming your way and you are going to love them. All right, so let's take a look at what this looks like. This is different generations in the workplace. And as we're building our story, you know, Jessica talks about performance management, all those things. Sandy talks about hiring. You can't do any of it if you don't have the people, right? You can't do any of it if you're not being thoughtful about attracting talent and attracting the future of work. So in this chart, when I put it up here, okay, you probably automatically look at yourself, right? That's what we tend to do in a picture. We look at ourselves in the photo, and if it's good, then we post it, even if your friend's eyes are closed, right? So in this situation, you look at yourself, but what I want you to look at is the future of work. So let's just spend a second here. And you guys, anything that you need today, I can send this all to you. So I know we're taking pictures, but if you just give me your business card, I'll send it and make sure that you have it. So Gen Z, for example, values, right, in the workplace, authenticity and equality. They focus on social responsibility and stability. So we're talking about this. Our millennial generation had a lot of transition. The Gen Zs saw that, and so they now are more focused on stability. They're called the gig economy, right? So you see Uber Eats, like I can create my own schedule, but I'm still working for a large company that's somewhat stable. So if you can master this as an organization and look at the future of work, you're gonna be able to draw in this talent, beat out your competition, and be ahead of the game when it comes to staffing your team, okay? Workplace view and authority, respect is earned, work is time for work, work-life harmony, right? My responsibility development. You're gonna see that Gen Z wants that face-to-face interaction. So all those things that Jessica were talking about, performance reviews, making sure your managers know how to do that. If you're not setting time aside in the workplace, you're going to miss out, and the candidates are gonna join your team, and then they're gonna leave because you're not providing them the things that they need to stay a part of your organization. Okay, so the millennials are on there too, right? And we've all had experience with the millennial generation, baby boomers, right? Gen X. No matter what your opinion is, each one of these generations has had an impact on the marketplace. So whether you like it or not, they've made an impact on your world. So in some way, we have to learn to like it, love it, and accept it. Well, you don't have to love it, but you can accept it. Okay? So at Apple One, we always say that data closes deals, adjectives don't, right? I don't want to hear that you're a people person, bleh, like none of it. So data, what does that look like for us right now? So when we hear Jessica say money's not everything, I wanted to share this study with you. You guys can see right at the bottom, it's 14,000 Gen Zers, 8,500 millennials. But just take a look at why people are staying in their current organization, right? Good life-work balance, that's 39%. Now, as a baby boomer, right, you might define life-work balance different than a Gen Z. So make sure you're talking about that and asking the questions so it's data in the workplace. What is a good life-work balance to you? Describe that. And if you're asking the question, please be open to listen to the answer, right, and process what they're saying. But you can see here, this is what our candidates are looking for. So if we're talking about the future of work, if we're talking about the hybrid workplace, it's not just salary, it's making sure that we have opportunities to progress and grow, right? Driving a sense of meaning from my work. That's really important. Let's get to that in the interview so we can spend time with our candidates. Unemployment's 3.6%. We know that it's hard out there. There are 5.4 million more job postings than there are unemployed persons. So what does that mean to you? We can talk about how hard it is out there. We can talk about how nobody wants to work anymore. We can talk about all the things that the news are saying. Or we can decide that we are going to attract different candidates in the marketplace and we are going to get better as a company because that's where hope and opportunity live. And just have a moment of silence for the way things were, right? Just grieve it because it's gone. So the more you talk about it, it's not going to change it, and your competition is going to beat you to the best people because they're getting better. I want you to ask yourself the question, are you worth changing for, right? If you were to meet somebody in the grocery store today, if you were to meet them at Publix, is your company, are the things you're doing, are you worth changing for? And if you can't answer that question, then we have to reevaluate, right, what we're doing as an organization. And we're going to learn from some great CEOs today. Okay, tools to make things happen. If you guys need any of these, I'll email them to you. They're all on our website too. They're all open source. But so many times we have a job opening and then we just pull out a job description and we're like, okay, HR, get out the bullet points and we're going to put this online because we have an opening. But when was the last time that you evaluated what the needs are in the marketplace? We saw what our candidates with the future of work is looking for. We all know this chart if you took any sociology class, right? And so we want to look at a level 1 foundational need candidate, right? In that case, we do want to evaluate pay, benefits. In a call center environment, will candidates move for 50 cents? Absolutely. We see it every single day, right? So that customer service certificate, we better be willing to pay that candidate and make them a part of our team. Level 2, sense of belonging, career development, right? Things managers must provide to create engagement in their employees. We have to make sure that we have strong engagement plans. We're looking at that mid-level candidate, right? So when you're placing an ad, when you're doing things to attract talent, if the bullet points are not saying, hey, this is a place where you can make a difference. This is a place where you can lock arms, where you'll have an impact with our CEO, where your voice is heard, right? Where you matter. Whatever those things are, when I'm reading your ad, when I'm looking at changing to your organization, are you worth changing for? And if you are, do people know it? And then level 3, right? Like, I've been at Apple One for 18 years, so I want to be in an environment right now where I can make an impact. That's important to me. Again, are you looking at the needs of the employees that you have and making sure that you're managing and leading towards that? If you've ever worked with me before, or I've ever, if you've been to any presentation, this is so important to me, is meeting with your team to define what you're looking for, okay? So, again, opening on our team, do we know what it looks like to hire for this specific position, okay? Have I sat down with Sandy and said, okay, What is the area of the most turnover right now? What are the must-haves in the next candidate? Are we looking for a D? What does that look like for us and our team, right? What are the characteristics and traits? What's the makeup of our organization right now? What does our team look like? How would you describe it? So if I was in a team planning right now and we were looking to hire, Jessica, what's important to our group? For us, hiring new talent, if you're a corporate recruiter, it doesn't really translate into what we do, okay? So we know that as a team, we normally won't pull over somebody with a corporate recruiting background. We know somebody, if we're gonna bring them through an apprenticeship program, maybe we take them from Target or some type of hospitality. We've decided that as a group because we know what will work and what doesn't work too. I've said this before, when you're dating, you make that list, right? Like everything you want in the perfect person. So when you meet them, you're like, oh my gosh, you're the perfect person, right? Or so you say. And then you can marry them, right? Because it's on the list, you know that. So for our employees, Jessica talked about this, making quick hires. If we know what we're looking for, then we can do that really quickly, right? If we've met as a team, if we set that strategy. So tools you can use now, do that. Leave here today, go meet with your team. I love it, okay? Benchmarking. Again, we hear this word culture, and it's such a nebulous word, right? I've talked to clients before, and they're like, we have a really Google-like environment. We have cereal. I'm like, that means you shop at Publix. That does not mean you have a Google-like environment, right? So I know I've shared this before. I had a client actually, when I asked them about their benefits, they said, we have a Keurig. Okay. So in these situations, we want to make sure. Now, does everybody need a pool table and shots at 5? No. But have you defined what your team, what your narrative is, so you know how to attract the best people? If we're an outgoing and energetic environment, what does that mean? What does that mean for you as a group? Have you talked about that? Does that mean we party at 5? Or if you're in a library, does that mean that we don't close all the books at night and we're crazy, right? Like, what does that mean for your team environment? Define that as a group. Make sure all of your leaders and all of your managers have that same strategic narrative, so when the candidate walks through the door, you are able to make that hire, right? Lauren's here. She's the manager of my Orlando team. I know when a candidate interviews with Lauren, they're going to hear the same thing that they hear from me, right? We know how to describe our team, what it looks like, and then we're able to execute on those decisions, okay? This is another tool that if you ever need, but if not, craft your own, right? Do it for the candidate too. Jessica talked about this, preparing interviews, asking these questions. If a candidate says, I'm really fun, well, describe fun, right? I don't want to fill in that detail for you. So you tell me what that looks like. You tell me about the last time you had to complete a project and what those percentages were, and have them define it. And awkward silence is okay in the interview, right? Because trust me, the people sometimes that we make offers to, it'll be crazy. Jessica and I, we've talked about that a lot. So, okay, here's one thing that is really important, and this is super different. I've been adding this to every single narrative with a client. We just worked with a company on this, but mapping out your career path. So for example, this is a real letter that I just gave to somebody on my team. She just got promoted to an executive account manager. And the greatest part is the minute I promote you at Apple One, I look you in the eyes and I say to you, here's the goal letter for your next position. I want that rocking chair mentality that you're gonna grow old with me. And so the minute your career path is mapped out and we have different avenues for you to go down, but the minute that you sit with me, I'm already talking to you about your next promotion, but the ownership is going to you too, right? It's not only up to me. I want you to know that these are the things that I need you to meet in order to get here. And when you hit 1 or 2 of them, come talk to me, because then we can get excited about that next step and what it looks like for you. If you do not have a goal letter for your team, I would recommend get that done for your people. We saw on that chart that upward mobility is important, right? People want a place where they feel valued and cared for. We saw that. We saw the Deloitte data, right? We know these things. This is an actionable item that you can immediately do to change the face of your company, okay? So here, it's mapping out your career path. We have career path goals, performance, results, trainings, qualities, participation. We sign off on it together. It is a measurable activity that I care about your future with us. So when a recruiter calls somebody on my team, right, and I get headhunted out too, don't worry, it happens to all of us. If they just sign this letter and they know that their future is there, we can work on it together, okay? Oh, and I just wrote just a couple questions there, right? Is there a way for them to take ownership? When was the last time you promoted something? When I talk to a company, sometimes, or a candidate, if I'm on the phone with you and you let me know, right, I'm happy in my job, I just want to find out when the last time somebody was promoted on your team, or when was the last time that your boss said something really great to you or cared for you. And if you can't answer that, then you might step out in the hallway and take my call, right? So make sure that you're loving people in the way that if that call comes in, it'll go right to voicemail. Okay, employee recognition plan. If I've ever worked with you in any way or you ever needed this, this is something that we want to make sure we establish as a team. We talk about the value, we talk about encouragement, and everything doesn't have to be money. It doesn't always have to be an Amazon gift card, right? We've had it before in our office where we've had a competition and somebody writes a poem or a rap about somebody, right? Wouldn't that be great if your CEO came in and did a rap about you? I mean, that'd be pretty funny for the team. So think outside of the box. It doesn't always have to be a gift card to Amazon, right? Spend time with your people. Ask them, if you have a birthday, do you like to celebrate it, right? I had somebody who didn't like their birthday celebrated. And so we want to care for somebody at that level. I think there was just a lawsuit where a guy sued because somebody celebrated his birthday, right? And he didn't want it to happen. So what? Okay, ask the question. We know this now, right? Interest and priorities, recognition and ideas. And then as a team, what is worth recognizing, right? In the heart of the pandemic, when my team was transitioning and putting 3,000 people to the work for the state of Florida, there were days where we just celebrated showing up, right? Because we had to. And so what does that look like, controlling rest for your team? Okay? Stay interviews, making sure you have a plan. I know I just have a few minutes, but again, it takes so long to attract talent. It costs so much money to place ads, to recruit, to pay your recruiter on your staff to find people. And then they get there, right? And all of a sudden, all the magic's gone. Don't let that happen. Be the person to stay worth changing for, right? So make sure that you have stay interviews in place, asking people, checking in, those face-to-face interactions, the best work of your life here, defining your environment, making sure that there's clear expectations on people. If it's a work from home environment, when I message you on Teams, the expectation is that you would respond within 15 minutes, right? You don't have to commute from your kitchen to your computer. You can do it. I believe in you, okay? And then of course, quality is the best business plan. So we hear these things, we know they're important, but then we get back to the chaos of our day and we ignore them. If we're not paying attention to the way that we hire and perfecting the way that as a company we are deciding, are we worth changing for? So when someone walks through the door, they hear that messaging, then we're gonna miss out on the best talent in the workplace. We're gonna miss out on the future generation that's getting ready to come through, right? I think the cutoff age for Gen Z is 2012, right? So my son is like 10 years old. So we got another 8 years to prep for these people coming through. So get ready for it. Okay, that's it. All right.